For many of us, the image of our ancestors 4 million years ago includes a saber-toothed tiger chasing its prey across the grassy plains, or maybe a herd of dinosaurs roaming what we now call the American Southwest. But the truth is that 4 million years ago, our home planet looked very different from how it does today. And our early ancestors were definitely not around. In fact, humans did not even exist yet. So what kind of prehistoric critters were around 4 million years ago? And if we had been around back then, what would we have eaten? Welcome to Paleologic. Today, we're going to unearth the prehistoric plate and find out what our ape-like ancestors munched on 4 million years ago. To figure out what these early hominins ate, let's travel back in time to see what was available to them. When most people imagine what life was like 4 million years ago, they picture rolling grasslands and herds of grazing animals. But that wasn't the case. Although our planet had technically entered the Pleistocene epoch, which is known for its grasslands, the world 4 million years ago was still mostly covered in trees. This meant that our early ancestors probably spent more time climbing than they did walking. And this would have been true whether they were plant-eating herbivores or meat-eating carnivores. In fact, scientists think that many hominids were omnivores, eating both plants and animals, but favoring fruit when it was in season. As far as what other foods they may have chowed down on, there's some debate. Some experts say that early hominins primarily ate fruit and supplemented their diets with things like leaves and bark. Others claim that hominids preferred grasses, buds, and flowers. There's evidence to support both theories. For instance, scientists found fossilized feces or coprolites that contained grass phytoliths, which are tiny pieces of silica that form in grasses and are super durable, so they often end up preserved in poop. Unfortunately, we can't run DNA tests on these ancient dupes to find out exactly what type of grass was consumed, only that grass was definitely part of their diet. Other scientists argue that early hominids relied on a diverse menu of wild plants. To support this idea, they point to the wear patterns on the teeth of fossilized skulls. The teeth show signs of being used for crushing and grinding, which is what you would expect from an animal that eats plants. But those who believe our ancestors preferred grasses say that the teeth also show signs of being used for ripping and tearing. They hypothesize that early hominins used their teeth as tools and ripped the grasses by hand, much like we might rip open a bag of spinach. And, of course, we can't forget about our favorite extinct primate, the dinosaur. Many people think that dinosaurs were around 4 million years ago, but they went extinct about 66 million years ago, give or take a few. So, no matter what type of critter you were, there would have been plenty of food available as long as you were willing to get up into the trees to get it. If you were a vegetarian, you could have snacked on fruits and leaves. And if you were a carnivore, you could have dined on termites and small reptiles. But what if you were an early human who chose the omnivore lifestyle? Would your meals look more like a salad or a steak? Well, it turns out that early humans weren't exactly health-conscious and didn't sit down to carefully portion out their plates of steamed veggies and grilled chicken breast. Instead, they pretty much ate whatever they could get a hold of. This included nuts, tubers, birds, eggs, and small mammals. Basically, they just grabbed whatever food they could get a hold of in order to survive. In other words, their goal was not to eat healthy, it was simply to stay alive. Perhaps that's why today's humans have evolved to be such picky eaters. We tend to prefer sweet foods and soft textures because our ancestors likely chose to eat the soft, sweeter parts of plants and animals while avoiding the bitter, fibrous bits. But humans today aren't quite so picky when it comes to our favorite prehistoric foods, and we don't seem to have any aversion to things like brains and eyeballs, even though those organs were usually left uneaten by other predators. Clearly, evolution has given us quite the palate. Now we want to hear from you. What would you eat if you were a hungry human 4 million years ago? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more prehistoric tales.